welcome back to the Dray Way, episode 5. Glad you stopped by. There's a couple things I want to talk about today because it's been a strange week already. I made a couple of TikToks about it. By the way, if you haven't joined my TikTok, don't forget to go see Drayton Nay right over there at TikTok. I hope you join me over there. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, why not? But it's been a strange week, and it's something I wanted to talk to you guys about because a lot of you are asking me that, hey, what if I need help with my social media presence? I want you to know I'm here to help you on that too. If you need web design, logo design, a landing page, or digital marketing, just click the link below. I'll be glad to help you. Just click the link. I did a couple of things this week that I didn't know was going to be a big deal. I was with my father. On Fridays, I take my dad, we go get pizza for the family and stuff like that. And so we went to the pizza place, and I thought, let's sit and have, let me get you some coffee, Dad. They're going to make us a fresh pizza. Let's just sit here and chill for a while. So that's what we were doing. And I noticed about 15 feet from me was a table of 4 women, and they were laughing and having a great time. And they started saying things like, Buckeyes, go Buckeyes, and all that stuff. And I could tell right away that they were from Ohio. So I called the waitress over, and I said to the waitress, I said, is that your table right there? And she said, yeah. I said, what are they drinking? And she said, they just started having margaritas. I said, well, get them a round of margarita. I'm from Ohio, and I want to show some Ohio love, so get them a round of margaritas on me. And the waitress went, okay, I'll do that right now. I said, great. So maybe 5 minutes went by, and I see the waitress, walking over to the table with the margaritas and everything, and the woman starts going like this to the waitress, and the waitress kind of points over at me, and I kind of go like this. And I'm just about to stand up and be like, hey, I thought I'd show some Ohio love. I'm from Ohio too. And she stood up, looked at me, and she goes, we don't need any drinks from any man. And sat down and looked at the waitress and just went, take these away. And the waitress kind of looked at me, and I kind of looked at the waitress, and I was like, I have to admit, I was kind of in shock. I was like, did I just do something wrong? And to make matters worse, the very next day, I'm with my dad again, and we're walking out of this restaurant, and there's heavy glass doors. I mean, the glass doors are heavy, and my dad's 80 some years old. So I push the door open and, help my dad, and my dad goes walking out. And there's 3 women walking right towards me. They're maybe 6-7 feet away. And so I hold the door like this and I go, ladies. And the woman stops dead in her tracks. I mean, she stops dead in her tracks, looks at me and goes, really? And I'm kind of standing there like, what? And they walk around me and go to a different door. This has all happened just in the last 2 days. So, I already talked about, I don't know if I ever told you guys this story, but I told it, I think I told it over on TikTok, but I was helping a woman. I mean, basically I saw, you ever leave Costco and you see, somehow these women have these big cases of water, and they're really heavy. And a couple of months ago, I just kind of walked up behind this woman and said, oh, I got this for you, don't worry. And I grabbed it and I just threw it in her car. And it took maybe 5 seconds to throw both cases in the car, and she was frozen. And I looked at her and I said, are you okay? And she kind of went like this, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, you scared the death out of me. I'm like, I did? I'm like, I am so sorry. I just wanted to help. She goes, I know that now, and I'm like, wow, I got to start really paying attention, because because I've always just thought I was doing something kind, but I don't live in a woman's head. I don't know the danger or the thought process they have, So, but now I'm wondering, am I doing something? Have things gotten that bad that if you just offer to buy women a drink, they can't accept a drink that you buy, that a waitress brings? It's not like I walked over and, handed them drinks. It was being brought over by a waitress. Is that now the new wrong thing to do? And as far as door opening, I don't get it. I have to admit, I don't get it. I've always opened doors for women. Whether it's car doors, restaurant doors, any doors. I've always done what I thought was the polite thing. But to have a woman look at you and be like, really? Really? I was kind of like checking myself as I'm holding the door. I'm like, I'm looking at my outfit. I'm like, am I doing something wrong here? Am I doing something? So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit today. And I want your comments. I mean, are there certain things you just shouldn't do anymore? Are there just certain, is buying a woman a drink now yesteryear? It's now history. You just can't do it anymore. And I'll give you another perfect example. I go to the grocery store all the time. I like to go to the grocery store basically on a daily basis. It's just my thing. I don't like to go once a week and buy a whole bunch I like to go at least once a day. Sometimes it might be 2 days, but I go pretty regularly. And one thing I find all the time, all the time, there are always short women in the aisles kind of doing one of these, kind of like, man, I wish I could reach that right now. So I can't tell you how many times I've had to help women reach whatever it is they were looking for in the grocery store. But my point is now, unlike 20, 30 years ago, you could just walk up and say, man, what are you looking for? And just kind of almost like, just go ahead and do it. Whereas now you got to kind of really almost give women a heads up. It's just a different time now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you had some of the same experiences? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about what I just saw in the news. Did you know that more than half of all women in relationships that are married don't want to be in that relationship? More than 50%. And that seems like an amazing statistic to me. You mean to tell me more than 50% of women are feeling, or should I say not feeling it? That kind of blows my mind, to think that more than half of women in relationships don't want to be in that relationship. And you start to stop and think and go, well, why would that be? Why are we at the place that we're at right now in relationships? And, it got me thinking about my relationships. I was just recently married for 18 years. And it was an extremely difficult marriage because there were outside influences involved. There were things involved out of my control. And in that type of relationship, I can understand the stresses and struggles that go on. But I'm starting to stop and think and say to myself, what could possibly be going on with women, so many women that are unsatisfied in their marriage? And it has to be with what the demand is on a woman today. I want you to stop and think about the demands that we place on women today, because somehow we seem to automatically think that women are superheroes, that they can go ahead and go into the workforce and build a successful career, and then come home and take care of the kids and take care of the house and take care of everything associated with it. No problem, piece of cake. Yeah, I think that husbands are still living in an era that was gone 30, 40 years ago or more. They're still thinking that, hey, it's a woman's responsibility to do this. It's a woman's responsibility to do that. And it's a woman's responsibility to do the majority share of, taking care of the children. And I just don't think that's the case anymore. And I think more now than ever, it's leading into huge marital problems. And it's the reason why so many women, oh my gosh, I get so many. Let me know what you think in the comments, but let me tell you something. In my comments and some of my other videos and stuff that I've done, women are like, Drayton, enough is enough. I didn't sign up for taking care of all the kids plus this new kid, this new man child. And that's what a lot of them call them. They call them man child. I'm married to a man child. And women are starting to figure out, well, wait a minute. I have my career. I have my job or my business. I don't necessarily need this person that isn't pulling their share, that isn't involved in the family unit, that isn't involved in making me better. And I think, I think it's something that we have to talk about. Let me know what you think, because I'll tell you what, I'm seeing all the statistics and I'm listening to all the videos, and at some point you have to stop and go, you know what? Women are complaining. What exactly are women complaining about? And if you start to just stop and listen to what women say again and again and again, it's the same message. It's the same thing. I have too much on my plate. Too much is expected of me. My significant other isn't doing anything. And I hear that over and over and over again. So when I see that story that, over 50% of relationships of married women don't want to be in that situation anymore, I think it's something that we got to talk about. I think it's something that we have to, sit here and stop and go, wait a minute. How can we make this situation better? How can we change this? Because I have women all the time comment to me, because I have a little bit different philosophy when it comes to, a relationship and stuff like that. I don't put a lot of burden on my partner for doing extra jobs or extra activities. How does it, tell me in the comments how it works out at your house. How do you guys, how do you split up that workload? How do you guys make it work at home? And is your husband or your wife equally partnering with you on the kids? Because I can see, and just in my neighborhood, I see a lot of women doing most of the work when it comes to the children. But that's just what I see in my area. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I'd like to hear a lot more. And I want to talk about this a lot more, because I think it's something that's really pressing us today. I think it's in 2024, more and more women are deciding to be by themselves, and what men need to understand is, it's not about what necessarily you bring to the table. It's a matter of, can you make that person's life better? Because there's a lot of women, a lot of women that will tell you, I'm really happy alone. I'm really happy being by myself. Just because I'm by myself does not mean I'm lonely, And again, I want to get your thoughts. I want to talk about this some more. And don't forget, have you subscribed yet? You haven't subscribed yet? Okay, well, this is episode 5. Episode 6 is coming up. I'm glad you joined me. This is the Dray Way. Thanks for joining me. Look for episode 6. And if you haven't seen 1 through 4, take a look at 1 through 4. Thanks for joining me. Okay. I promised to tell you guys a story. So before you go, I thought I'd give you one of my stories that you guys want to hear about. So this is what happened. My sister was in middle school and she was having a dance. And apparently they were short on chaperones. And I heard my sister complaining to my parents, and they said, no, we can't go and stuff like that. And I said, well, I can go. You want me to chaperone? And my sister says, you'll chaperone one of my dances at the school? I said, sure, no problem. what do I do? And she goes, well, just check in at the school on the night of the dance and they'll give you a badge and you're all set. I said, great. So I show up the day of the dance, walk over to the office, and there's this very nice woman there named Tracy, and she goes, you must be Mr. Nay. I said, yes, I am. And she goes, I've heard so many nice things about you. It's good to finally meet you. Here's your badge. And I said, well, thank you very much, Tracy. So I walked into the school dance, and let me tell you something. There was nothing going on. The music was great, but the kids, the boys on one side, girls on the other side, So that was going on for maybe 20 minutes, and then a slow song broke out. And I saw one of the other chaperones, and she was attractive. So I walked up to her and I said, hey, why don't we get this dance started? My name's Drayton. Why don't we dance? And she said, that would be great. So we were dancing, and in the middle of our dance, my sister comes walking over and she's going, and I'm like, what? And she's like, I can't hear you, So after we got done dancing and everything else, I walked over and I go, what is your problem? She goes, that's my best friend's mother. What's wrong with you? I go, what? I asked her to dance. I mean, everybody's dancing now. What's the big deal? She goes, stay away from my friend's mother. I said, okay, calm down. So needless to say, about a half an hour goes by, another slow song comes on, and she comes walking over to me and she says, would you like to dance again? I didn't want to say no, so I said, sure. So we danced again and had a great time. And after about another 20 minutes, she looked at me and she goes, I can't stay the whole time. I've got to go, but I'm not sure where I left my jacket. Can you help me find it in the coat closet? And I said, sure. So we were looking for her coat in the coat closet for, 15 minutes. And after we found her coat, I walked her to her car, and I came back into the school, and I walked into the dance room, and Tracy is standing there. And she has the look that she has just seen a ghost. She's looking at me and she's like, and I'm like, Tracy, what's wrong? And she goes, we've had problems with people getting stuff stolen in the coat closet. I go, okay, is there something missing? She goes, we have a camera in there. And I said, a camera? And she goes, uh-huh. And I said, oh, it doesn't videotape, does it? And she goes, no, it's just a monitor, but you can see everything from the office. Tracy, I'm sorry. I didn't know. It's not my fault. A lot of you are asking me that, hey, what if I need help with my social media presence? I want you to know I'm here to help you on that too. If you need web design, logo design, a landing page, or digital marketing, just click the link below. I'll be glad to help you. Just click the link.